playing the SmackDown. The Rock said, know your damn role.
I'm testifying, I'm flying above the circle. I died to find their watch as I plan to show you, and I climbed up the ladder. They don't know just what I'm holding. Electrifying, lifting you up and over again. They can't define us, an indestructible force to deal with. It never hurt us, there ain't no mercy out on the streets, but I'm with my brother. He tagged me and get somebody beat up. You can't even see us, but we put you up and over again. I'm testifying, I'm flying above the circle. I died to find their watch as I plan to show you, and I climbed up the ladder. They don't know just what I'm holding. Electrifying, lifting you up and over again.
Welcome to the Up and Over Podcast, a professional wrestling podcast where a bunch of marks discuss pro wrestling, where everything's a work and none of their opinions matter anyway. Firstly, I want to get the missing piece out of the way. We're missing Patty Mills this week. Our former Scientologist turned tag team champion of the Up and Over Podcast is missing. With that said, we do have his tag team partner, one half of the tag team champions of the Up and Over Podcast. That's Big Papa C. Cortland.
What's up? What's up? Doing it singles like Matt Jackson, you know? Putting on classics.
I'd prefer Nick Jackson, but that's okay.
That's what I meant. I said it. As soon as I said it, I was like, well, fuck me. I'll just let it roll.
Then we have our Cadillac cowboy himself, the one, the only, Big Ethan.
How's it going, y'all? I'm in a real bad situation. I just had COVID, and now I can't eat no ketchup because it tastes like metal.
There's one thing you need to know about Ethan. It's that he loves ketchup. We also have our curator, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the Bam Bigelow impersonator himself, coming live from the living room that looks like a guest bedroom. That is Casey El Gordo Gringo.
Hi.
I got on here at 10:05 p.m. I ate my cup noodles. Everybody was making fun of me. You don't know how hard it is being Mike Klinsky. Fellas, how's your week going? Is there anything that you want to dive into before we get into our episode following with our ECW arc currently?
Yeah, sure. There is a whole list of people who were released 90 days ago, as of today, who are now free agents. They're able to go where they wish, and I think that's super exciting. You can look at that list on the Up and Over Instagram and Twitter account. Also, for tomorrow, we're doing an immediate Dynamite review, and I'm super excited about it because today, being Tuesday, they announced that Brian Kendrick is facing Jon Moxley on Dynamite. And I am so excited about that. I'm excited that we get to talk about it immediately. Super cool that we're getting to witness it. Because I've watched a lot of Brian Kendrick matches the last 2 weeks. Because Alex hadn't watched a lot of them. So I showed her a lot of him and Paul London stuff. Showed her the Cruiserweight Classic, which she loved, which is so good if no one's caught it. Cruiserweight Classic from, I think it was like 2015, 2016, something like that. So good. Yeah, man, those are the two things that come to mind.
I like it. I like it. On that Dynamite, we're also getting a match that I am personally excited for, which is Brody King and Malachi Black versus Penta El Zero Miedo and Pac, which should be a banger. Really excited to tackle that. If you guys haven't listened to our live Dynamite recaps, you can always catch them after the fact on our YouTube page at the Up and Over Podcast YouTube. Just some food for thought. Was there anything else that anybody wanted to add before we dive straight into November to Remember 1997?
Just want to say shout out Daniel Garcia for winning the 2022 Battle of Los Angeles this weekend. Well deserved.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
That's all I got.
Absolutely. I heard, I think Casey's dog Owen might have had something to chime in there. I heard
something about Brett being a bitch.
That's what it is. And in that note, hold on a minute. My dad's calling. He heard you talking shit about Bret Hart.
He's still bitching about the bookings from the Royal Rumble.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, man. Speaking of that, I guess it was reported that Shane McMahon had a lot to do with the booking of the Men's Royal Rumble match, and he apparently buried Jamie Noble in the creative room in front of a shit ton of people.
Well, I guess it's like they were having
pretty
issues the whole week trying to book this shit, and then I guess day of the Rumble, they changed the Rumble like results like 20 times.
Well,
then,
yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
you're gonna-
of course you're not gonna know your clear-cut winner or the person who should be the winner of your Royal Rumble if every Monday Night Raw people in your announce table are going out with no notes. Because y'all don't even know what the fuck you're about to put in front of them for 3 hours. You know? So, like, you don't even know what the fuck you're booking at this point. So, like, of course you're not going to know who's going to main event your biggest event in 3 months. Like, they're such dipshits. Speaking of them being dipshits, though, we reported on here a month ago, about Jeff Hardy being released from WWE when the speculation was drug use, and they have reached out to Jeff, according to Matt, and asked him to return to WWE, and even offered him a Hall of Fame spot for the 2022 Hall of Fame, and he declined it, and his response was, "I want my drug test." And after a few weeks of battling with that, he did receive his drug test results, and everything came back negative, which he knew it would. Apparently, there was no him getting his bell rung or anything like that. He simply, in the middle of the match, said, "I'm done," and he left. Which I think Matt's words were like, Jeff can be sporadic and very much in the moment, and Jeff decides that he's done, and he walked out. You know, I think it's super cool that Jeff is getting this free reign to do what he wants coming up, and he gets to do it with a clean slate, going wherever he's going, and he's got that little piece of certificate that says, "I'm not fucking up, and I'm here to wrestle my ass off." And I hope that we see it sooner than later.
We still have, I think, half his term left. I think he's only at like 45 of 90 days, but
yeah, Matt posted he's like posting a picture of them every Saturday,
week,
and he's
right?
saying every Saturday until we reunite. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, all the stars are pointing toward the Hardys and AEW, but I'm just beyond that. I'm just glad that Jeff is still clean and sober. That's the most important thing.
I mean, we said that whenever it initially happened. We said that if this stuff's if pro wrestling is a trigger for you and self-abuse, then like don't wrestle anymore. You've done more than enough to entertain us, and no one's gonna be mad at you if you decide to walk away, especially at your age and the length of your career already. I mean, you've already been offered the Hall of Fame, you know, so what's left to do? Really, what's left to do? But I'm excited to see him go chase whatever he thinks is left to do, and I'm super excited to see whatever it is.
I think he's just wanting to have fun, and I
mean, they both said they want to retire together, so I just want them to have fun and just obviously be safe, because I don't want them to be flipping off ladders, because you don't have to.
But he's gonna
leave those spots to Sammy now and Darby. Let them do that shit.
Go crazy.
Yeah,
Jeff's a bit of a nutcase, so
if you want to do a leg drop off like the 4th rung of the ladder, and I mean like 4th from the bottom, cool.
What are you, a bitch?
Yeah.
Gonna get a 35-foot ladder out.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Anything else y'all wanted to add before we dive in?
Let's get started.
Sounds good to me. Our last one, we dove into ECW Hardcore Heaven from 1997, and now we are diving into ECW's November to Remember pay-per-view from 1997. This caps off ECW 1997 for their actual pay-per-view broadcasts. This was November 30th, 1997 from the Golden Dome in Monaca, Pennsylvania. 4,634 in attendance. Joey Styles is in the ring to welcome us to November to Remember, and this is a much larger crowd than they've ever ran in the previous events that we've covered. It's the largest crowd ECW has ever had, and he promises that tonight ECW will give the fans a November to remember. Wink, wink. And into the video package that we go. Again, I've talked about it at length. I just absolutely love these video packages. I don't know who worked on them, but they kept them up to date with, the latest in terms of what the wrestling was and like the cool spots that you could have missed between pay-per-views just at their live events. So I really enjoyed the video package as I have the past two events. We
You
jump
see
right
the little
into
add-on to they spin in, and it looks like it's like a blue screen TV, and he's kind of like spinning in and out of the clips as the clips are switching, or like transitioning in the intro.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a blue screen, and then it like spins, and it kind of looks like the camera is like looking at like a little television screen, and like it's like going into transitions from like clip to clip. It actually looks really cool, and for this time, really well done.
Yeah, and especially considering that they were just a much smaller company. I mean, this is really like a DIY thing, But we jump right into our first match, which was Tommy Rogers versus Chris Candido. Candido's reaction from the live crowd was a wild one because I said, I think last podcast, that Chris Candido does nothing for me, but the live crowd popped massively for him. This was a really technical contest for the first few minutes, and it received a boring chant from the crowd in response.
Immediate boring.
Almost immediate. You're talking like 2 minutes in. Rogers suplexes Candido from the ring to the concrete floor, and it gets the crowd on their feet for the first time in the match. There were some cool moments, like Tommy's Hurricane Rana for a near fall, Candido's top rope Hurricane Rana for another near fall, but this was mostly forgettable for me. After a long while of back and forth, Lance Storm interferes, and the match ends in like a weird no contest thing. If there's anything you wanted to add to this, just because it does run 2 segments, I went 1 3/4 on it. It was just okay to me, man. It did really nothing for me. Was that high for you, Cortland, or low for you?
That's super low for me.
I'm with you, Cortland.
So you enjoyed it?
I loved this match. I actually think this is the best match on the card.
That's crazy.
Just
Wow.
the Tommy versus Candido. The intro singles.
Yo,
Yeah.
Cortland, don't back down. I'm with you.
I'm not
on that.
I'm
backing
gonna
down.
plead his
I'm gonna say
case,
it's
but
my
I don't think
favorite
he's
match.
right.
I don't think it's my favorite match on the card, but I support the way you feel about it.
I think this match is fantastic. Tommy Rogers is one of those unsung heroes of tag team wrestling. With the Fantastics, with Bobby Fulton, like they did a lot of great work in a lot of places. And for him to come to ECW, knowing that the first 2 minutes of this match was going to get booed out of the building, but like halfway through this match, this crowd is on their feet. They're fully behind both of them. We get this weird run-in at the end, which like I don't enjoy, like how it just switches to a tag, because this match had so much. It felt like it had a lot behind it. For it to continue just being a singles, it wouldn't hurt either of the guys to lose. But man, this match is really fantastic to me. It worked a style that ECW doesn't bring to the table a lot, especially for their opening matches. But like by the end of this match, they're chanting that he's hardcore, and that's for a guy that most of 90% of his moves are with you on the mat and him controlling the head position, So like for me, this match is a 3.5 stars for me.
Wow. Well, you and I watched 2 different matches apparently. Ethan, you said you're right up there with Cortland. I'd love to hear your rating as well.
Yeah, I went 2 3/4 on it. But that's that's far from bad for me. I just really liked it. I like Chris Candido a lot. I had no clue Tommy Rogers even worked ECW. Was this just a couple matches he did, or?
Yeah, he did like a small stint after Jerry Lawler. Like once that circle happened, kind of everyone started to circle from like old territories and small territories that still existed.
Yeah. So no, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's just your standard opener to me, but on these ECW cards, you don't get much stuff like this, and I just thought it was really good. I can't remember. I think Candido suplexed Rogers to the floor, or vice versa at some point. It was a really
Tommy
good spot.
Rogers suplexed him to the floor from the apron.
Yeah. That was a really good spot. I mean, the tag match is something I'd like to see on its own, but I hated that they cut this opener off because it got 13 minutes, and I was stoked to see how they finished it up. Because I mean, if they would have had a strong finish, I probably would have went 3 or 3 1/4. I just thought it was a real good match, and probably my second favorite thing on the show, to be honest. But Casey, do you have anything to say, or are we going into the tag?
He has to give a rating.
Like, I love Chris Candido, but like going back through some of this like older stuff, like this match didn't do shit for me. Like, I don't know if it is because like I don't expect like super wild crazy shit from Candido, like because like he gets a little like on the extreme side, but he's never one to be like in like the Saboo like territory. He doesn't go that crazy. But like for like some reason, like some of these earlier like matches, they just kind of fall flat. But like I gave it a gentleman's 2 1/4. Like I was like, it's not terrible. I enjoyed the tag aspect of this a lot more, and I understood why they did it. Just for the sole reason that like the triple threats, they're all pieces of shit. Like it made sense to have the run in there, but like it wasn't awful, but yeah, it's fine.
All right.
With
just
that-
following. That's cool.
That's fine, dude.
Their opinions.
I'm
Yeah,
just,
it's cool, dude.
I'm
I
just,
don't care. I love this match. This is going up there with watching ECW. This is one of my favorite matches that I watched so far.
I love
Because
that.
genuine storytelling, and this crowd is fucking eating up Chris Candido, and they're loving the shit he's doing, and then he flicks them off, and then they boo.
Yeah.
And then he does another cool move, and he gets them pumped up again, and then he flicks off somebody, and then they boo. And then, like, it's just the small little things in this match that really, really did it for me. I could have gone without the tag match, but, you know. When I think back at this match now, I only think of it as its singles. I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't give that rating for the tag match at the end, if that makes sense. Like, I wish we could have got a solid finish to that.
Yeah.
truthfully, I kind of thought about it with the tag as kind of its whole thing. As weird as that may sound. You know, I was just like, okay, they had this singles that turned to a tag. This is all one little thing here. That's kind of how I viewed it. Because the tag stuff, not to jump the gun as we're about to get into it, but Lance Storm interferes. Jerry Lynn makes the save, turns into a tag, and then they bust off a bunch of cool spots. You know, I would have liked to see a finish to the singles match, but as a package of the both, just the whole angle, you know, 2 3/4, 3 stars flat for the whole thing is kind of how I was looking at it.
I mean, dude, and he hit an unprettier, which just blew my mind.
Yeah.
The Tanaka just hit an unbelievable unprettier. What do they call it? Kamikaze at the time?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, Kamikaze. And, like, the crowd ate it the fuck up. Like, they jumped off their feet like they had never seen anything like it in their life.
I will say in the defense to the singles aspect of the match that, like, it turning into a tag match is the beginning of the reason why I hated this era of ECW. Because this happens so fucking much. I think it will probably happen in the next, like, 8 pay-per-views we have to go through. It's going to happen at least 3 or 4 more times. Where it's just like, there's like, well, this is a fucking tag match, or it's a torn, it's like, they'll just like start throwing people in. You're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, for zero fucking reason.
I have written down impromptu tag match. Fan screams at ref asking, "Are you allowed to do that?"
No, he's
like the
on,
camera picks it up. Perfect.
So he's on hard cam and he actually yells to Joey. He goes, "Hey Joey, is he allowed to do that?"
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
John Finnegan just kind of was like, "All right, I hate this. It's now a tag match." Like,
yeah.
have I ever seen a ref do that
Referee dominated.
anywhere else? That's.
I just wish there was some cohesion in it, because it was just like they just started working a tag match, and then Joey Styles was like, "I guess this is a tag team match." There was no like, "All right, you know, you want to tag, re-ring the bell, or do whatever."
Yeah,
you
no,
know, they just
he was like, "This is happening," but like it wasn't like a cut and dry like start. It was just like, it's a tag match now. Okay.
It's somehow though it's far less insulting than some of the stuff we'll get later on the show.
Oh man.
Last thing I'll say about this match is like, it was slow enough to where the moves that they did felt important. You know, like it had the momentum to where a superplex or a super hurricanrana from the top rope had everyone all the way in the back standing up. And then you have like him doing the Candido attempted the second rope leg drop, and Rogers landed a power bomb. The crowd ate that shit up.
That
man.
was a good spot.
And it's like that spot can be used in this match or like on this card somewhere else, but it wouldn't have gotten that reaction because the tempo and the story they were telling in this match meant more, and it felt like it meant more than the rest of the blood feuds that were on this card to me. Because it actually told a story. It felt like it was more than just like your typical blood guts ECW.
And they were just a lot more crisp. You know, the way they were wrestling. They were more crisp than any match on the show, you know.
And I think I've said it to Casey before, but like I am a Tommy Rogers mark. So like I've enjoyed his work. I enjoy the way he hits the ropes. I enjoy the way that he's always just like strutted. Like, and he's just so serious about the way that he wrestles. And it's just like, it's the small shit of him working someone on the ground, getting up, and instead of turning around and running at a rope, he just backs up and hits it and then drops again. And it's one of those things that like anyone else doing it would probably look fucking ridiculous. But him doing it, it looks clean. It looks professional, if that makes sense. Like it looks like it's something he's done so many times that he could do it in a
Interesting. So again, we devolve into a tag match. We get Chris Candido and Lance Storm versus Tommy Rogers and Jerry Lynn. For me, Storm and Lynn added a ton of flavor immediately to this match. Candido gets knocked off the apron into a photographer at ringside who just eats this large man falling on her, and it received a "she's hardcore" chant.
Yeah.
But didn't she no sell it? She like tried to like get up and just walk away, and he like grabbed her, and he was like,
he was like, no.
Like, this is a work, baby.
Right? Yeah, like you are now in the show.
You can, like they kind of like when they panned to, like that happening. She looks visibly pissed, where she's like, "What? The, You have all of this room to fucking fall, and you fall onto me into the guardrail. Like that probably didn't feel good." So she's like, "You fucking asshole!" Like.
She knows the equivalent.
It's the equivalent of stubbing your toe just with a large man falling on you. So she was just walking around trying not to yell like just mad.
Click.
You had a bit of dissension between Candido and Storm when Chris pulls Lance off of Jerry Lynn just as he's going for a top rope back suplex, and Candido hits his finisher, the blonde bombshell, a top rope powerbomb, which looked great.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Candido and Storm win after Candido pins Tommy Rogers with a Northern Lights suplex, which looked awesome. I went 2.5 on that. I enjoyed the tag match for what it was. Casey, what'd you have on that?
So I gave it 2 3/4. I love Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn can almost do no wrong in my mind, so it's very hard for me not to be like, it's the best ever. At one point in the match, though, Rogers goes for like a roll-up and shows the majority of the crowd Candido's entire asshole.
Yes. For a long time.
The response wasn't even like a chant. Everyone just went, oh! Like, they were like, what the fuck? I don't know why this made me. They were like, Jesus Christ! They were like,
oh my God! Put it away!
Joey said one of the funniest fucking things during this when he's calling the match. He goes, "You fans."
He says so much funny shit.
He says, "You fans may remember Jerry Lynn from WCW." Where he wrestled under his real name, Jerry Lynn, and under a very innovative name of Mr. JL, where he wore a mask, fooled everybody. Like, he just like is like talking shit about other people's work, where he's like, these guys are fucking stupid.
He is up there by himself for 2.5 hours. He has to pop himself somehow.
Loses his
Literally,
mind.
I was gonna say,
dude, he pops himself.
A lot.
Like he does it all the time. I feel like he's talking to himself.
You can hear him giggle. That shit was awesome.
Yeah. The way he delivers the like fooled everybody, he was like fucking nailed it. Like he's like that was good.
It.
But yeah, I
there
mean,
was
like, for just like the if you haven't watched it, like they quickly explain it when Lance does the run in. At the time, he is like the prospect for Triple Threat. So like he's just making sure that Candido's gonna win, and then like he's like outshining Candido during the tag match, so Candido gets pissed. So it's like there's like little baby like bits of storytelling in there, but like some of it was just like, is he helping you or not helping you, Candido? Like let's Let's figure this one out.
Yeah.
Joey Styles does this thing where they'll like have just like him on like just a camera. It's just him with the backdrop, and you know when he's about to say some funny shit because his mouth does this thing where he's like,
Oh, yep. I know.
Like, he's, like,
exactly what
trying
you're
not
talking
to pop
It's a
himself.
combination of he knows it's funny, and then he's like thinking to himself, like, how much trouble am I about to get in? He's like, is
Yeah.
this gonna get me in trouble? I don't know. It's gonna be funny though.
I bet he never got in trouble because he
Oh.
deserves the world. I don't know if y'all
Come
got
back.
it, but again, I'm on the perfectly legally downloaded version of the original ECW tapes.
Yeah.
But we had a promo for Mikey Whipwreck versus Just Incredible. At last year's November to Remember, Whipwreck upset Steve Austin. Just Incredible is undefeated in ECW at this point, having most recently upset the Great Sasuke, and is putting his streak on the line against Whipwreck. As if this story didn't tell itself in that last sentence. We get Just Incredible with Jason's worthless ass versus Mikey Whipwreck. It was a fun match for me, man. I enjoyed it. My brain remembers Mikey Whipwreck being just a job guy for some reason. And I wish I could explain why. I think just because he got his ass whooped all the time.
That's why
He
he
got
was so
beat up.
popular.
Yeah,
But
he
he
got
was
beat
great.
up a
He
lot.
went
He got beat up.
He went from being a fan to working the crew to being just like the fucking whipping boy for like everyone. And then like
Whippersnapper.
he just kept climbing himself. And then like, yeah, at this point, it's like the sentence that you said was it's mind blowing that he beats fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin at one point in his career. He's a 2-time tag champ with fucking Cactus Jack. Like it's mind boggling to think. And then this
Awesome.
is not even his best. This is not even his best form of Mikey Whipwreck.
No.
Like
Oh, yeah.
we're
No.
getting there, like slowly,
We're getting
but like we're not even close to being like the fucking lunatic
He rocked.
with Tajiri.
Yeah.
And he
this
just has
was-
iconic work around him. Like, when I think of Mikey Whipwreck, I think of Mick Foley holding Mikey Whipwreck's limp body, and he's holding
Yep.
the tag belts. Like, that's what I think of. Like,
Yeah.
it's just an iconic character in pro wrestling.
And doesn't he like train people now? I mean, Mikey Whipwreck's character arc is just through the roof. What a guy.
Mhm.
This had
People
some cool
love him.
spots, for real. Notably, Whipwreck hitting a swinging Hurricane Rana on the outside early on had me pop massive. And then the Avalanche Whippersnapper to finish, which we'll get to. But Just Incredible really looked awesome here. I hate to say like the WWF shine, but you could tell that he wasn't just an indie guy. Like he had time working like TV wrestling. Everything that he did was like really fluid and nice. I really enjoyed the match. I thought he looked great. Whipwreck overcomes the douchebag Jason's help and picks up a win via the aforementioned Avalanche Whippersnapper. Cortland, what'd you go on this?
I gave this match 2 3/4. I enjoyed it. Just Incredible does a badass missile drop kick in this match. That
He
really
lands like on
popped
his
me.
knees. It was wild.
It looked fucking awesome. The whippersnapper from the top was. Was this the first time it was done?
I would say
I don't-
no, but it
because
looks
I don't
awesome.
think so.
I
But
don't
that
know.
crowd ate it up like they had never seen that shit in their life.
Oh, you
And
talking
they
about
loved
off the
it.
ropes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
It may have
yeah.
been. Yeah,
His-
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Yeah,
it might have
I
been
mean-
one of the first ones. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
Dude, they ate it up, so I did too. I enjoyed this match a lot. Just Incredible is one of those guys that can just get his ass whooped and whoop ass, and it makes it look great either way. I think going further into ECW, we're really going to see how great Just Incredible and honestly both of these guys really are. So hopefully the rating for both of them just like continue to climb as we go through the next year, because I'm sure it will, because they're on the trajectory. You know.
Yes. And we know
So,
where we end up
good
with
match.
Just Incredible with him and Lance Storm, which is like I'm very excited for those. Should be
That's
awesome.
just the best.
Let's go with Casey. Casey, what do you have on this one?
weirdly enough, I think this is one of the very few matches where I just sat and watched. Most of the time I tend to have like my notes like with me, so I'll stop and like kind of go through. This is one of the only ones on this one I just like sat there. I did have to write down that there was a just an asshole chant in the crowd. because I love the play. I love the play on it all the time. Like it just fits perfect. I gave it 3 1/4. I love the match. I love the work. Yeah.
Ethan, did I miss anything here?
No, I went to 2 3/4 on it. I really loved how this show started off because I love that first match. You know, they work in, just a nice technical match. And then you roll into this and you just have them go out there and do a spot fest, and let Mikey Whipwreck show his ass, hit the whippersnapper off the ropes. I just thought this was a blast. I mean, shit kind of gets rocky after this, but these first 2 matches, I'm like, damn, this show's going to be fucking great. So, yeah, 2 3/4.
I'm right there with you. I went 2 3/4 on it. I thought it was an awesome match. It was a lot of fun. Here's the deal. I'm going to read my notes on this promo that we have.
I'm scared.
And if anybody else has anything that they need to add to it that I missed, feel free. But we cut to the back, and Al Snow is in the locker.
I gotta go ahead and stop you there. Because what sends us to the back is Joey Styles says, Al Snow's getting head in the locker room?
And then
What?
he goes...
and then it goes straight.
And then it just cuts.
I was like, wait, what the fuck did he say?
Peacock
Like,
didn't
it got
cut that.
me and I knew what he was talking about.
Did you catch him arguing with himself? Does that happen for you guys? Where he's like, I can't believe he got head in the locker room. Like, did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's
okay.
like him saying
making
it,
sure that
and
y'all-
he's like, it's like them like not cutting it soon enough to where it's like he's like, fuck, I really just said that, and then it cuts.
My favorites
Yeah.
are when he's like, I'm sorry, Mom. Oh, my mom's gonna be mad about that one.
Ah, damn.
We cut to Al Snow and the Job Squad in the back, but this is like legitimately just like, hey, let's go film in the locker room with the boys. Like, there's just people sitting around with him. He's talking to a mannequin head. He's cutting a promo on the head. The head tried to get a job in WCW with Al Snow. This is insanity. Those are my notes.
You have the blue me not even fully dressed, looking back
I
at
was
him
gonna
like,
say.
what the
Gut
hell is
out doing his thing halfway
Yeah.
through it.
He's getting his shirt on. He's like, what is happening over there?
Half my man's gimmick is out the towel. He's just standing there.
Literally, dude.
He's like, what are they gonna do? Job me? Like, I'm fucking...
Literally.
It was an absolute mess, and I loved it. Then we cut back, and that's when you got Joey Styles like, Al Snow in the back getting head in the locker room. Like, it was a mess. It was
So
just...
good.
It was awesome, man. I mean, who can cut a promo completely by themselves talking to a prop? Al Snow.
And he was fired up, man.
I mean, I
Fired
feel
up.
like there's only 2 people. It's like Al Snow and Perry Saturn were the 2 that could get away with it, people that loved it. And I mean, yeah, of course you have your people that hated it. But I mean, I feel like if there's anyone that can get away with shit like that, it's them.
I mean, like,
Especially like,
with this,
remember like Eric Rowan's animal in a cage.
well, like with this like inception of him talking to Head, because this is kind of like the beginning of it. Like, cut to like a pay-per-view or 2 later, the entire crowd from fucking rafter to floor has a styrofoam head. Like, this came out of literally nowhere.
And they
then-
start. I remember that one that they
threw
like,
him, yeah.
threw all of them in the ring.
Yeah.
And it like one of them like almost knocked him out.
Yeah.
Because that shit, he like it hit him so hard he like turned a full
Ah.
360 and was like, "Hey, motherfucker!" Awesome.
Go.
Y'all didn't get the promo. I think you got the word on the promo, but you didn't get the promo. But Paul Heyman narrates a Sabu versus Sandman promo. The biggest highlight of the promo is a slow motion of Sabu jumping off the stage and cracking Sandman with a beer bottle. It just fucking bounced off his head before it cracked. I will send you guys a video in the chat of it
So good.
because it popped me big. Then we jump into our ECW World Television Championship. Taz defending his title against Pitbull number 2 with Pitbull number 1 and Mr. Right. I knew this was going to be a squash when Pitbull number 2 didn't even get an entrance on pay-per-view. But the odd part is he got most of the offense in. Eventually, Taz lands a belly-to-belly overhead Tazplex, then a T-bone Tazplex, and chokes Pitbull out with a Taz mission. Simple, sweet. I gave it 1.5 stars. I just thought it was silly and goofy for what it was. Ethan, what'd you have on it?
1.5 stars. I'm just glad they fucking went in, did business, and got the fuck off my screen. Taz is awesome at this point, but Y'all know what we watched at Barely Legal. With these
Pitbull
Pitbulls.
number 1 was leaps and bounds better than Pitbull number 2. Like,
It's unbelievable.
it's not even close.
What I love is that
I
this is
know.
3 weeks in a row of this that you're just burying Pitbull number 2.
Oh, dude, it's not our fault.
I know. It's just
you.
really funny. It's just like each week it gets like more aggressive where you're just like, I fucking hate this.
It's not that I hated it. It's that I disliked it enough for me to say something about it. Like, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I still gave it a 1.5 stars. I could have buried this like, something else like Scott Steiner Test, but I didn't. Because
My man.
Taz dumped people on their heads and it made me pop.
Yeah. So
Casey, what'd you go?
It took me longer to write the notes to this than the match was. Because I wrote
Mhm. A lot
down
of
move.
notes.
I wrote down move for move the match.
Oh,
It's a
man.
couple of lefts and rights followed up by a power bomb. This is all Pitbull number 2 to Taz.
Yeah.
So followed by a power bomb, spinning heel kick, top rope shoulder block,
That
2
spinning
count.
heel kick sucked.
It was so far off.
Sucked.
It looked.
Too
I
off.
watched it and I was like, "Oh, this is the shits." Like,
You watch the crowd
bad.
stand up, this dude in the front's like, oh, spinning. Oh.
Damn.
he's like, "Take a seat. Fuck.
So-
I hate this."
So it's the spinning heel kick, the top rope shoulder block, a 2 count. Then there's a belly to belly Tazplex, a T-bone Tazplex, Taz mission. That's the entire match.
Yeah.
Like it was the weirdest thing.
Like
It wasn't
a
even
minute.
like it wasn't
Like
even.
a minute and 30.
I think it was like a minute and 29 if I remember from the other
It
week.
didn't even make the 90
No,
second
it
mark.
didn't make the full 30. I don't think. But like, it was weird because it wasn't like Taz no selling it. It was just like, all right, get your
It
shit
didn't
in really.
affect it.
It didn't like not affect him, but it wasn't like his like where he's like gotten thrown and then he pops right back up again. It was
I
just
told him
like
that's what he was gonna do after that fucking spinning heel kick. Because
Right.
like shit. It was
because
so
he basically
bad.
it's a 2 count. I don't know what Pitbull number 2 was going for, but he basically gets countered into the belly to belly Tazplex and then we go home. Like it's the weirdest fucking thing.
Oh.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I was so just flabbergasted by how bad it was. I forgot to rate it.
Rate it right now off the top of the head. Who
Yeah,
cares?
right now.
Honestly, we'll
Right.
give it a star.
I knew that's what we were going.
That's a
Portland.
start.
I went a star and a quarter.
Okay.
Oh,
It
we're
was.
high, Mike.
It was whatever. It was fine. We
No,
can
you're
move
not
on.
high. I think that what happened after the match took me even lower because it's like
That's
this
fair.
match didn't feel like it was supposed to be here, and then now the shit that happens next is just like, oh my god, get the fuck out of here, dude.
You
Send it.
gotta give the people what they
Oh.
want, and they want Taz dumping people on their heads. That's what people
Dump
wanted.
'em.
That
Dumping
and Sabu
people on
missing
their heads.
springboards. Like that's what they wanted.
If Taz ain't
They
not,
got some of that.
if Taz isn't giving people
Well, like, if that's
CTE
what they
and not
want.
and making them black out, those are the two
Yeah, and
things
then
you
s-
need.
That's what
And then
they want.
Sabu's giving himself CTE by missing these springboards. Like that's what we were wanting. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we were at. Post match, Taz hits Pitbull number 1 with a pump handle Tazplex just for getting in the ring. Like literally, he got in the ring and just dumped him.
For your troubles.
Um,
Good job.
The audio on Taz's promo is horrendous, but there was an F slur chant in the crowd, and he tells Mr. Wright if he steps in the ring that Taz will show him the difference between being cum drunk and punch drunk. That's really all I got. Then Taz beats up a security guard, shoot style, and Paulie is shouting for them to roll something pre-recorded from the production.
Literally is choking out a security guard, and they're like, for the love of God, fucking play something else.
Move on! Like,
He's like,
it
I'm
was
trying not
insane.
to get sued. It goes
So
on
then
for
we
like
get-
45 seconds.
And
Did
then we
y'all
get Spike Dudley and
Bam Bam
Bam
round
Bam
2.
Bigelow toss to the
Twice. He
Wow.
did it 2 times in
This is the second time that he throws him.
yeah.
So we
Yeah, this is
covered
the
him
one they
getting
actually
thrown.
catch him.
Yeah, this is like on an actual ECW television taping, and he
Yeah.
actually gets caught, and they crowd surf him
And they
around.
crowd surf. Yeah, because
And
the
they
first
dumped him,
time
he-
you get it, the motherfuckers just moved. They were like, no.
He dumps him. Did y'all not see him dump twice in this? He gets thrown twice in this promo.
He doesn't get
Did y'all
thrown
only
to the.
see one time?
They don't show him get thrown to the crowd more than once.
Dude,
On
he
the
gets
Peacock
thrown
version.
toward. He gets thrown toward hard cam, and I don't think he made it. I think he
I don't
just
think he
hits
did.
the barriotide.
I mean,
it
Bam
was a
Bam's a
mess.
strong motherfucker, but that's gotta be tiring. Like
He does it later. The psychopath. Yeah, so old footage of Bam Bam Bigelow and little Spike Dudley into the crowd, and this time the ECW faithful catch him. After Bigelow defeats Dudley, the crowd is chanting one more time, and Bam Bam tosses Spike into a different part of the crowd.
Jesus.
This turns into a weird promo for the main event. They like zoom in on Bam Bam's face, and he's looking like Roberto, like Bobby Boucher's dad, for a little bit of this. It's very odd. Bam Bam is the heavyweight or the ECW World Heavyweight Champion. Vince McMahon hates Shane Douglas, and Eric Bischoff hates ECW, or shown flashing on the screen. It was just a bizarre thing. I don't know if y'all saw it, if it was on the Peacock, but
I think they show Spike getting yeeted, and then it kind of cuts to like how Bam Bam becomes champion.
No, it cuts to
Or
like
is
a
it-
Bam Bam vignette of like, but he's just saying, "I'm going to destroy Shane Douglas," right?
oh, we lost.
'Cause that's
Ethan.
what I saw.
God damn it.
Ethan's gone forever. Yeah, this was just weird, man. Like, I wish I could
Yeah,
explain it, but
It was all over
yeah.
the fucking place.
Sorry.
hey, bud,
Hey,
you disappeared.
welcome
on
back.
us.
No, I said somebody was at my back door.
Ah,
Sorry, everyone.
well, gotta find out who's creeping on the house. Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot of what he looked like, and y'all can tell me if he looks like Roberto from the Water Boy.
Roberto.
Roberto. It's a doozy. It's something. Then we get
I'm your daddy.
dude. When I tell you, you're gonna see it and be like, "Oh my god." Then we cut to the ring, and like, there's already everybody out for
The
this-
FBI is cutting a promo, and
Who was cutting the promo?
Shut up, Tracy
the
Smothers.
Dawn? Because it was Tracy Smothers and Nunzio are the competing
Little
members.
Guido, buddy, get it right.
Nunzio, motherfucker, it's always will be that. I don't remember who the Dawn's name is, but he's just referred to as the Dawn throughout the match.
No
He
idea
had
who
like
the
this
fuck
weird
that is.
Southern Italian accent. I didn't know what was happening.
Because he's not Italian.
Yeah,
It was one of
Just
my
a
favorite
random
things.
guy.
I
but
that's what I'm saying.
FBI was Full-Blooded Italians was originated in like '92 or '93, and the original members, there was only one Italian dude in it. It's a jab at Italian people.
Yeah.
It's not like
Is
It's not like
Tracy
they-
Smothers isn't Italian, is he?
No. no. Like it's
He's
all
the wild-eyed
it's all
Southern
work.
boy, man.
I'm just like, he's not
Yeah,
even
it's
close
all
to
work.
being not even close to being Italian.
I'm just happy I got to see Tracy Smothers here.
God, it's
That's
the
all
best,
for me.
dude. I thought I was in the
What a
same boat
human.
on that one. I was like, yeah, it's Tracy Smothers. And then I just remembered Chris Hero's like his acceptance speech on behalf of him for like the Independence Hall of Fame, and it's the fucking greatest thing.
Yes.
But then you get them cutting a promo, and then literally out of fucking nowhere, Devon comes into frame, and they take the microphone, and then Joel Gertner, I have the promo written down.
Ah, yes, I do too.
Oh God.
The cut back from the ring was very sudden and unexpected. I just felt like they lost traction here and didn't really know what the hell to do on the broadcast.
They
which
were
felt
all over the
like
place.
a bummer. Devon had the best type of heat in '97. He touched a mic and they were chanting "Fuck you, Devon."
Fuck you, Devon. Multiple times. It's not like
Bubba-
this. It was only a one-time.
Throughout.
Like every
Bubba Ray could never.
thing.
We had what a marvelous night for an evening, which Joey Styles responds to. What?
What?
That was said by the quintessential muff stuffer. I mean, stud muffin. Just like Rubik's Cube, the more you play with it, the harder it gets. Joel, so big it's hard to keep from hurting her. Gertner.
I'm not on this podcast.
What a mess.
My name is Ethan, and I'm not here right now.
Oh,
What?
Joe Gertner. What
A
a piece of
mess.
shit.
I just started with what a marvelous night for an evening.
Well,
then it just-
well.
It just kept going.
It's the
I was
fucking
stunned.
best.
This
dude.
is I'm officially starting. It's what the 1st of February that we're recording this. I'm officially starting a petition for. I mean, realistically, 9 months from now, that Casey be Joel Gertner for Halloween.
Okay. Won't be that hard.
bail.
Just get a neck brace.
and wear like a shitty blazer. Like go to Goodwill and find like a weird suede blazer. You'll be fine.
Holy moly.
Bubba hits a top rope superplex on Balls Mahoney, and Balls legitimately bounces feet off the canvas.
This fucking, it's a 4-way dance.
What was it called? A 4-way dance of death for the ECW
It's
Tag
the
Team
Dudleys versus Axelrod and Balls Mahoney versus the
Versus-
Gangstanadas. This is the most ridiculous fucking name still. And then the tag champs being the
Tracy
FBI.
Smothers and Little Guido.
And
FBI
this is
full
the,
bloodline.
if there is one way to explain why I fucking hate ECW booking, it's this tag match.
It's all.
Holy shit.
This is the shits.
I didn't hate it so much, but I think I enjoyed it because it really was ECW. Like what I think about ECW, that's it. You know what I mean? Like there was 2 matches on this card where I was like, yes, this is the ECW that I remember as like a 7-year-old kid.
ECW is split into 2 things. It's like some of the greatest matches to have ever happened, and then like what the fuck.
Yeah,
And there's nowhere
and
in
this
the
is
middle.
certainly in the latter, not the former,
So-
right? Like
Sorry, this
Look.
is what ECW, what I remember discovering ECW and being disappointed by it was watching shit like this. I was like, wait, this is what everybody's saying is the coolest shit in the world? What's even happening? Anyway,
There's
okay, go ahead.
there's so many fucking stutter step pauses from everyone in this match, because you get the Dudleys and the
The double
FBI.
chair spot.
They're sitting face to face in the ring, and then Axel and Balls Mahoney slowly climb in, and there's like Bubba looks over his shoulder fucking 3 goddamn times before he gets smacked in the back with a chair. They have like a weird 3-way dance of the tag teams for a little bit, and then you get New Jack's music, and then it becomes a New
What was-
Jack
what-
match.
what played for y'all? Was it just like
It's-
shitty house music?
No, it's his In the Ghetto song. Like it's normally it's his song. This is from
So-
everything I've ever listened to.
The song that played was Natural Born Killers by Dr. Dre and Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Which John Cronus coming out to that song and it playing for their entire duration of them being in this match
that's
was
every
my favorite thing in
That's
the world.
every match.
if you haven't
was-
if you haven't been introduced to a New Jack match, that is every single match until he is no longer in the match anymore, and that's how the match goes.
Again, let's double back to what I said. John Cronus coming to the ring to that song
Fuck
and
it.
that playing was everything to me.
So out of place.
They fucking lost their minds when the Gangstanators hit the ring in a fashionably late way. And of course, in typical New Jack fashion, that song blared throughout the arena during the match until the Gangstanators were eliminated. Bubba picked Guido up and like in a gorilla press and like launched him face first into the turnbuckle. And it stunned me. I was like, he's trying to kill this little man.
Yep.
FBI retained after some shenanigans from referee Jeff Jones. This was so chaotic. I went 2 1/4. Anybody want to throw their rating in?
I was torn between 2 1/4. I'm gonna stick with 2 1/4. It's just I wanted to give it like a quarter higher because it's like there is some good stuff in there, and this is like vintage ECW shit. But then at the same time, I can't lie, sit here and say that I thought this match was good,
It
or
sucked.
that I would say, you know, go watch this match, or that I'm ever gonna watch this shit again in my life, because I'm not. I'll go 2 1/4. And did FBI retain? I thought Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten won.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
They
FBI
retained because there was like a ref screw job, and then like the ref was a part of the FBI. It's so fucking chaotic, dude.
Okay.
It's not the first
Yeah.
time he shows up in this like event.
No.
Again.
Cortland, I saw how
Yeah.
angry you looked when I said that I went 2 1/4.
You shouldn't have. That's fucking ridiculous, man. What the fuck are you
What'd you
talking
give it,
about? This match deserves nothing more than a 1.25 for sure. I give the extra quarter simply off how ridiculous the no hand protected fucking headshots with chairs were. I give a quarter just for that. because they fucking lit each other up. But
We're a decade away from CTE being a thing.
I'm
Oh, it was already a
100%
thing.
I mean,
Um,
a known thing.
On the rarity, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this out on the table now, because we're gonna do a lot of ECWs. I hate New Jack. I have always hated New Jack, especially when I was a kid. I think the dude is a glorified piece of shit. He's not a good human being. We let him use pro wrestling to assault people and just treat people and other people like shit. Fuck that dude. So I doubt I'll ever give a New Jack match above 2 stars. So I'm very biased when it comes to New Jack. I think that he's a carnival act that should have stayed in the carnival. And I hate that he gets glorified because he doesn't deserve it.
Cortland just shot on
Sorry.
New Jack.
I don't
just
give a
wanna
fuck,
say-
dude. The dude's a piece of shit.
I just want to say RIP New Jack. I have no hate towards you, brother. Rest in peace.
Cortland. Casey, what'd you go on this? Because Court went a
He
full star. A
stabbed
full
a
star.
kid.
Yeah, okay.
lighter.
Okay, so yeah, this
Stabbed a kid.
there's like the part of New Jack where it's like, okay, like he would come out for ECW stuff and he would just fucking just beat the shit out of everybody, and it was kind of funny or whatever. For anyone that's never seen a New Jack match, they're all the fucking same. He shows up halfway through the match. He has a trash can full of shit. He makes sure that every weapon in that trash can gets used, either on him or on someone. And then you might get a dive from like scaffolding onto a table, and then that's it. Like it's every match. But then yeah, then you have going past ECW where he literally assaults like a fucking 16-year-old. It's bad.
That was in
Stabs
ECW.
him- He stabbed him over like 20 times with a fork in his scalp. They had to reframe his fucking forehead.
Yeah.
That was
And the kid
actually,
begged him to stop.
That was actually
and then-
before the years.
And then
that
you
we're
got the
covering.
other one where the kid said that he didn't know how to blade yet, and he said, "You can trust me," and he literally ripped him from above one ear to the other, across all the fucking way. Like the dude he's just not a good human being. I'm sorry to anyone who loved him, or if you ever see any of this stuff and you're upset about what I said, but like you should be upset that you supported that dude, because that is not a good human being. He's not a good representation of pro wrestling. That's all I got to say about that. You want to do like deathmatch shit? Do deathmatch shit. Do not fucking harm people for the sake of your own entertainment.
He was coked up, brother.
Probably.
I mean,
Honestly,
half of his
like,
gimmick is bragging about the fact that he murdered,
yeah.
legitimately murdered someone. Like that's half of your gimmick. Like, are you fucking for real?
Casey, what'd you give this match?
We can move on.
Fucking flabbergasted too. Like I was so confused by the end of this that like I didn't even know like what to properly give it. I was just like this match was all over the fucking place. Like
I didn't see a single tag.
Well, I mean it's
I think
ECW
it-
rules. That
Yeah, I
that
think it was
happens.
just beat each other's asses.
I think
Figure
the
it
biggest problem is that
Who's
there's
legal?
it's ECW. Like 9 times out of 10, there is an attack in there. Like,
Dude,
but like you've
Bubba wasn't even in the match for like 10 minutes, and he gets a pinfall, and I was like, where did he come from?
Bubba's fucking 360 pounds. He's fucking winded 2 minutes into the match. Like
And then Big Dick Dudley showed up.
Big Dick's in there,
That's the best
awkward
part
as
of this
he's in the match, awkward as fuck. The Don makes his appearance, awkward as fuck, like multiple times. It is so goddamn
I'm not saying
chaotic.
that Big Dick spot was the best spot of this match, but Joey Styles calling the Big Dick spots are the best spots in this match. Because he just, everything that Big Dick did, he would always make dick puns and dick jokes. And eventually, towards the end of them, he was like, how many dick jokes can I make?
Yep.
It popped me big.
Yeah, this was exhausting to get through.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I'm tired of talking about it.
Agreed.
We got Tommy Dreamer and Beulah McGillicuddy being shown arriving to the arena. Tommy's working the event hurt and says that Rob Van Dam is going to feel what the revolution is all about.
Okay.
You think We then get a pre-tape promo for Dreamer versus Rob Van Dam in a flag match. Then we cut to Joey Styles, who was supposed to be interviewing Shane Douglas and Bam Bigelow for their main event match, but both men declined doing the interview. Then we have the flag match. We get Tommy Dreamer versus Rob Van Dam in a flag match. Van Dam comes down to a shortened version of Walk by Pantera, which soon becomes his trademark song. The audio dipshits in the back played Enter Sandman for 20 seconds and then turned it off. And the crowd was so fucking mad. Furious.
I meant to hit track 7, not track 6.
Dude.
That's my
Then you had Dreamer come out to Man in the Box by Alice in Chains, and the crowd is kind of booing him, but kind of not booing him. It was very interesting.
Because that song is sick, and how
that
can
song
you
is very sick.
That riff is great.
Can't boo the
It's
song,
American
can't
soil.
boo the man.
Rob Van Dam beats Dreamer's ass for the first few minutes, and just as Tommy's gaining the upper hand, a whole bunch of fuckery happens with Bill Alfonso and the refs, and it's just a lot. It felt super overbooked with all the interferences, but the crowd was mega hot throughout this. The Can-Am Express, Doug Furnas, and Phil LaFawn try interfering, but Dreamer kicks them off the apron and turns around into a super kick from a returning Stevie Richards. Van Dam hits a 5-star frog splash on Dreamer, through a trash can.
Yeah.
That spot never makes sense to me because you're just going through a trash can. But he picks up the win. Ethan, what'd you go on this? Is there anything that I missed before we get to the post-match? I'm sure.
I don't think so. I mean, I kind of like this match. There's the overbooking stuff at the end, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty fun. One of the less offensive things on the show, because a lot of the stuff was just so in your face bad.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with 2 3/4. I thought they worked the little stipulation well. I mean, this was during the WWF versus ECW kind of. Is that the story they were going with, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think it was fun for what it was. Bill Alfonso had on a Monday Night Raw hat, which I thought was
I want
funny.
that hat so bad.
Yes.
Me too. That shit looks awesome.
I mean, they had good spots here. It's not anything amazing, but 2 3/4 is a solid little spot fest. This is the kind of ECW overbooking that I can handle. It's just enough where it's okay, this is kind of crazy. Anything can happen, kind of crazy, dumb shit. So it was just enough to not fucking throw me over the edge. So, yep.
Casey.
I just want to throw it out there that every time that Rob Van Dam in ECW gets Rob Van does the spin kick during the damn part of his name is one of the greatest fucking things any wrestler does for them being called. It's so fucking clean. I love it so much. They make note that Dreamer has a separated shoulder and he's also working with a fractured heel, I think. So he's wearing a boot. Yeah. When they make note of the separated shoulder, I wrote Dreamer's moveset doesn't require him to have shoulders, so doesn't really matter because he really can't fucking wrestle. He can't. Name me one match.
Back-to-back segments with y'all shooting on these motherfuckers, dude. What's happening?
Dreamer has 7 moves, and most of them are him lazily picking someone up and dropping them on their nuts on a barricade.
That's fair.
His finisher's a fucking DDT, and it's not even a good one.
Yeah.
I can't argue with it.
RVD also sells one of the best fucking pile drivers. He's the whole reason why I continued to watch this match. I gave it 2 1/4.
Fuck. Yes, he did. That was one of the things.
He takes a pile drive. The pile driver happens, and he literally shoots 3.5 feet off of the air, from his neck. It's fucking insane. But yeah,
it popped the crowd big too, man. They loved it.
I've never seen someone get that high before, and I've seen that clip 1,000 times. It's mind-boggling to look at. But yeah, 2 1/4.
Portland.
I gave this match 2.5 stars. Small stuff about this match is really good. It's mostly all RVD. Actually, it is all RVD. RVD does a pin that is the whole lackadaisical pin where he's just drops his back onto him, and for the ref's 3 count, he's 1, 2, and then he kicks out, and he was like, "Oh well, fuck D," and he like screams D.
Heel RVD's the fucking best, man.
Yeah, so like there's a spot where he's on the apron, he's about to do the like leapfrog leg drop, right? And there's a fan that's like, Rob, fuck you, and he stops like mid leap, and he's like, looks out, and he's like, this is for you, fuck you, and then he does it, and then he flicks him off in air while he's in the leg drop, like, and you barely see it. It's like, he just falls. My man, that's fucking great shit. Bill Alfonso's such a fucking piece of shit. Love seeing Tommy Dreamer get beat up by a group of people. Makes me excited. Gives me hopes for the future.
There wasn't a lot of whistleblowing in this match.
There was so much whistleblowing.
Was there? I think I've tuned it out by this
I didn't
point.
really hear it.
Oh my god! I wonder if we have two different audio feeds. I couldn't hear Joey Styles at times because it was just like,
oh, we had different.
And I was like,
honestly,
I'm fucking dying.
Honestly, I think at this point I've watched so much ECW that like my brain just automatically is like, you don't have to hear that anymore. Like you're safe.
The whistle's a part of it.
Yeah.
I did a 2 3/4 rating as well. Ethan, I see you up there. I thought it was fine for what it was. It was a little too long, overstayed its welcome a little bit, but whatever, man. Got to get the homegrown talent going. Keep in mind that RVD at this point is only 26 years old. That's insane to me.
You want to talk about overstaying? It's
different. He don't look much different today either, does he? He's starting to age a little bit. But...
He's starting to. He's wearing like these shitty little round glasses, and I'm like, you look like fucking John Lennon. Stop that shit.
Oh, I know it.
It's bizarre.
I just love how like aggressively perma high he is now. Like
always, he's burnt himself out. It's over for him.
Like you look at him and you get like a contact high like through your phone. You're like, what the fuck, God?
Yeah. His wardrobe has to smell a certain way, dude. Like all of it has to have a certain stench to it.
Yes.
Post-match, they all beat the shit out of Dreamer. Saboo comes down and clotheslines Beulah. They're stomping Tommy out until Enter Sandman starts playing throughout the arena. Has anyone else ever gotten over with their theme like Sandman did? There was one person that came to mind for me. One. But it's not even like he did it. It was a crowd that did it, and it was Fandango. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
But like that's the only one I could think of.
Honestly, yeah. What's still impressive is that for almost a solid minute, every time Sandman's song starts, you don't fucking see him.
Yeah.
He's like, lets it play for a while, and then he kind of like stumbles out like, oh, hey, I'm here.
Did anybody see the gut that Sandman was rocking?
Oh, holy shit, he's 8.5 months pregnant at this point.
Dude.
That
shit was about to...
obnoxious.
It was about to pull him down, dude.
He had to lean forward.
Oh.
Dude.
There was a moment where I noticed that he had a gut, and it was the same moment that we noticed the kid in the crowd with the sign that was WWF.
Well, I acknowledge it.
Which was women, wimps, and a bad word that I will not say.
A homophobic slur that a fucking like literal like 10-year-old is holding the sign.
Yeah, I mean you're talking.
And his dad's right beside him, like.
Kid's got a cast in one hand, a homophobic slur in the other, and he's like, "Fuck yeah, Sandman!"
Yeah, this kid is like an old 8, a young 10. Like he's in between those. You know what I mean? Like that's like the best that I got.
He was held back in second grade 4 times.
He's got a mullet. I'm sure that white shirt he had on had like chocolate milk stains. Like I'm sure it was just a mess.
It's probably Lars Sullivan.
It probably was. We get Saboo versus Sandman, and this was a mess.
I wanted to say, so from the entrance to when Saboo does his dive to the outside to cut the music, it is 4 minutes to the T. It is exactly a 4-minute long intro. It is still the longest fucking thing I've ever had to sit through.
My notes are this. This was a mess, so I'm just going to make note of the ridiculous shit that stood out to me. Sandman's leg drop on Saboo's neck through a table that is really just Sandman crashing through a table because Saboo didn't really go through it. Saboo's springboard leg drop thing onto Sandman through a table that didn't suck ass. Sandman hits a top rope suplex on Saboo onto a ladder. Sandman hits a shitty flipping senton from the ladder inside the ring on a Saboo through a table on the outside. Saboo's top rope Arabian facebuster with a fucking ladder for the victory.
Hold on.
This was
You're giving that senton way too much credit. He just falls off the ladder, and his fucking gut projectiles it pulls it forward.
It was a mess. This was far too long and far too ridiculous. It was exactly what I remember thinking ECW was, and for that, I loved it. I gave it a 1.25 stars. It was dog shit, and I adored it. I thought it was.
Therefore, I loved it.
Listen, man, you acknowledge it for what it is, and you move on.
Hot dog shit.
Bud. I loved it. 1.25 stars.
Cortland, what'd you go on it, man? How'd you feel about it? How disrespected did you feel after watching this for?
Oh my god, dude!
For 20 minutes and 55 seconds.
Oh man, I don't know why I agreed to do ECW shit.
This is your idea.
I enjoyed. I know, wasn't it? Because I thought it would be something that I could shit on, and everyone could make fun of me for like shitting on it. But like at some point, we all gotta grow up and be like, "This is the shit." And this is one of those things, man. I believe. Let me check. I believe I gave it 2 stars flat because they risked their lives easily 5 times each in this match.
I'll bump it to a 1.25 stars or a 1.5 stars. I'm sorry, I gave the same rating twice.
Sandman risks his life every day he woke up in 1997.
Dude, that spot, well, all right, so for people, you don't have to go back and watch it, okay?
Please don't.
But if you decide to, there is a particular spot where everyone knows that Saboo like sets up the table in between the apron of the ring and the guardrail. Now, this table that he places Saboo on is already broken. Okay?
The second Saboo's ass touches it, it warps downward.
It's already bowed, right? And there's a ladder in the ring. And Sandman decides, I'm just going to climb it, right? And you think he's going to, like, put his legs around the ladder and be able to, like, be on the side that he's jumping to. He's like, nah, fuck it, dude. Leapfrog. Like, and I mean, like, literal. He's, like, 2 steps from the other side from the top, right? And he just front flips with his hands on the ladder for momentum. The ladder slides about half a foot. And he comes inches, and I mean inches from his head, smacking the apron. Because of course, dude,
Did they give you a close-up on that? Did they give you a close-up shot on that, or was it hard, just like the hard cam?
They didn't.
They played it back at the end of the match. They play it back with like the side view from the apron.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I did this thing where I sat there and skipped every 10 seconds to see until we saw like a table spotter, and I rewound it and then I watched that. It was 21 minutes. I was up against the clock, fellas. I had to get on this podcast and do it. I was racing against the clock, and this was the one that I could trim the fat on, baby.
Yeah, for sure. There is a scary spot though. Saboo drops a ladder on the back of Sandman's head, and it creates a hell of a gash.
He just dropped it too. He was like, "All right, well, fuck
it's
it."
a nasty one, man. That shit's a boo-boo for sure.
This whole match
that
was just
shit
them
hurted.
tossing things, falling, and just so happened to be through a table. None of it looked like execution. It was just like, oh, Sandman ended up on a ladder. He's gonna tumble off and put Saboo through a broken table.
I mean, dude, luckily they both fucking walked out of there because this shit is fucking chaos.
I don't know if anyone caught it, but almost like within like the first spot of the match, Sandman like basically I think he like fractured his wrist. He's working this whole match with one arm because he can't physically move one of them, because every time he does, he's just grasping it and he's like, oh my god, like you can tell he's like in pain. He's like, that fucking hurt. And then every time Saboo saw him do that, he kicked his fucking hand. Like you can tell like Sandman was like legitimately like, that fucking sucked. Saboo was like, target. Like fuck you, pal.
What an asshole. Oh man, I mean, even there was like a broken fragment of a table, and they set it up on the apron, and like it's like 60% of a table, right? It's just missing that leg end piece, but like it's still broken in half. Also, for like this, just a fragment of the whole table, it's still broken, and this he Sabu just throws Sandman, and Sandman tries to like do like the apron spot where you like kind of just like flip, right? And he hits it, and the table fucking slides, and he just lands like all neck and shoulder, just like upside down, feet like over his fucking head. And I'm like, you fucking scorpion, you're a fucking idiot. Like, of course that didn't work.
This is such
Like,
a fucking chaotic
that is
match.
Completely upright. Like, what are we doing?
Then it was like it was the half of a table that still had a working leg, and they set it on one of the folding chairs from the crowd. So it's like a makeshift table. And they get, dude, what the fuck was this match?
Ethan
so
texted
dumb.
me and said, "Hey, how much of this do you have left?" And I was like, I sent him a screenshot. I was just at the Just Incredible and Mikey Whiprep one, and he was like, "Oh wow, you have a lot to go. Keep in mind, a lot of people shit on a match that's on this card. Like, you'll get to it." And I want to say that this had to have been that match.
Oh yeah, it was.
Thank
was. Oh, yeah.
God.
Like, dude, I read reviews from like 2002 where grown men got so mad about this match. They were like, "This is not professional wrestling. This is just not wrestling, and I'm not rating it." And I was like, guys, these are two literal like dumbasses falling
They're
around
fucking
through
idiots.
tables.
Bro, I'm
What
telling
do you
you,
expect?
I
I'm
stand
giving you a
by.
rating for the dumb spots.
I stand by my statement of that Sandman is just a fucking drunk uncle that peaked in high school, and he just does stupid shit to make people happy. Like, none of it makes sense. It's all clusterfucked.
Yeah.
I wrote down, I was like, I think it's true. I think Sabu has broken more tables setting them up. He breaks legs on tables all the fucking time. I think he's done that more times than he's actually gone through tables, though.
Yeah, because he like tries to open the table so fast that it, like snaps the leg, and he's like, "Fuck!" And then he puts it in the corner, and then he's the one that takes the spot, and then he always lands upside down, and I'm like, dude, you only have like maybe 10 more neck bumps before your body's gonna be like, this is it.
Little did you know he had years to go.
Decades. Ethan, what'd you give this?
Years.
We
ago,
still let him go all the way to One Night Stand 06.
They for some reason, people for some reason still book him on WrestleCon against the Lucha Brothers and think it's going to be a good match. I'm like, it's not. Did y'all see that a few years ago?
No.
Oh god.
I would not have gone out of my way.
Fucking RVD and Saboo versus Lucha Bros. Yeah, it's gonna be fucking ass.
God. What did you give this, Ethan?
Dude, I don't know. What was this? Or let me be one of those guys on the forums in 02. This wasn't wrestling. I'm not rating this match.
I'm gonna read you a small excerpt of this match.
Oh, I'm excited.
This match was so bad. I mean, you know how they say words can't describe how bad it was? Well, they can. Terrible, awful, horrible, unwatchable, boring, repetitive, amateurish, pointless drivel. How's that? I think Sandman flips upside down after a whip because landing on his head softens the blow.
Who wrote this? Who wrote this?
This was
Our new
Scott Keith from 2002, which is why I clicked on it, because I thought this was going to be it's not wrestling. He did say, here's the rating that he gave it. He gave it...
NR.
This was without a doubt the worst match of the year, and was not only bad to watch, but a detriment to the sport in general. Dud, but only because I don't give negative stars.
Jesus.
You know what, you fucker?
Good. I did write that this was 18 minutes too long, and 1 3/4 is all it can get. Cause fuck it, I don't know.
And it's kind of a shame, right? Because like the two of them have been in good matches. I just don't think that they've ever been in a good match against each other.
This other one says
the styles clash way too much for me to give a shit.
They need
about.
a babysitter in the match. Someone's
Yeah.
got to hold
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
hand to be like, I need you to go here. I need you to do this.
Yeah,
I will
And-
say, I loved the way they started the match with Sandman getting on the ladder and then Sabu coming out of nowhere with the dive. That was one good thing.
Bro, him
Yeah.
cutting,
Yeah.
because like I said,
Right.
it's a gimmick at this point. I'm gonna time every one of his intros because they take 7.5 minutes, and then him cutting it with that dive, I was like, thank Christ! Like,
Yeah, I said it on one of our last pods. I was like, I don't want to hear when we cover WWE again. I don't want to hear shit about Undertaker's entrance taking too, because dear fuck, Sandman's entrances take for motherfucking ever.
mind you, that was
And he does nothing.
that was 4
There's
minutes
no
on the
lights,
dot.
tricks.
4 minutes on the dot from just the entrance to the first side of the ring. He does all 4 sides before he gets in the ring normally. We got to one side and it was 4 fucking minutes.
This
Yes.
says, as you get to the finish here, it's like Sabu puts Sandman back in the ring and the leg drop on the ladder for Sandman from the top, which is enough for 3. Winner, Sabu. Losers, the rest of humanity. So there's your ratings. I'm
God.
upset that we spent this much time on it.
Me too.
Dude,
Same.
it's a fucking spectacle. How many tables are broken in this match?
100.
How,
Dude,
how
I
many
felt like-
All of
ladders
them.
do they just drop on each other?
Never mind.
It is a
I'm not saying
fucking
anything else.
spectacle.
Just a sweet ass
nothing
Home
else.
Depot ladders.
What were you gonna say, Ethan?
Let's move on to this main event because I think we're all going over.
Well, hold on. We're not just there
What
just
do we have
yet.
left?
Why not?
Fuck.
We've got a Taz with a bunch of fucking tobacco in his lip cutting a promo.
I do not have that.
He
I don't even.
Oh,
Yeah, so on the Peacock version, that clusterfuck ends, and then Joey Styles is getting ready to like cut to the main event, and Taz is up there with him, and he's like, "You're not supposed to be here," and Taz with a fucking entire lip full of chew cuts the sloppiest fucking promo, being like, "Bam Bam, after you win, I want to face you for the time." Like he's like, "I want to
and he
face you
also
next."
says, like, he like says where he's like at living wherever the living dangerously or whatever the hell event's next.
Yeah. And it's all
It's so
lispy and shit
awkward.
because it's like clear as day. He's got this like fat pack of chew in his fucking lip. And I'm like, why are we doing this? But that
Yeah, so-
happens.
and
And
then
then,
he's like-
we get to the main event.
Yeah, he like hits Joey with the mic in his chest and he's like, "Here, do your damn job." And then he's like, "All right, living dangerously, pay-per-view."
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Mine
he's
literally
like, he's like,
mine
"Jesus
literally-
Christ."
cuts from Sandman in the ring on one knee with with his little cane, his little Singapore cane, to a wide shot, and then we go straight into the main event.
Oh, weird. Does
Oh,
it? Do you get the promo like of them like recapping Shane and Bam Bam?
I got that earlier.
Was that earlier? I don't remember if that was right
Yeah.
now. It's such a fucking blur at this point. I don't remember if that was like them covering the actual match where he won.
I'm gonna go watch that promo to see how dog shit it is. But anyway, we get
Oh,
into our main
it's
event,
awful.
which is Bam Bam Bigelow, our ECW World Heavyweight Championship, defending against the franchise Shane Douglas. Casey, how'd this match feel on your body? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, great. He only takes like 4 bumps in the whole match.
This was such an odd match because it truly felt like 2 matches in one.
Mhm.
For a long while off the rip, Bigelow was just beating the shit out of Shane Douglas, like just whooped his ass. He eventually has the franchise on a table and goes for his patented top rope moonsault, only to be powerbombed from the top rope through the table. Bam Bam eventually hits a gorilla press toss, launching Douglas to the outside onto Candido, I think was on the outside with like security.
It was Candido and Lance because they were both barred from ringside. They try to come out and then he gets yeeted onto them and then they leave.
Francine hits Bigelow with a crutch and he takes it from her and swings like fucking Barry Bonds. But she ducks, thankfully.
Thank
Which
God.
would have been,
Thank God.
which would have been
Right.
horrifying if she mistimed this.
It's a wooden crutch, and if he connected, there would have been a homicide in the ring. Because
he
he's
swung with
the ref
every
isn't the
bit.
ref isn't within swinging distance, but he fucking ducks for his life. He's like, Jesus Christ. He fucking swings that so goddamn hard. And like at the time, like she's supposed to have like a fractured pelvis or like something. Like she's
So
like,
she can't get down.
no, like she's supposed to be legitimately hurt. She's also wearing like a skin tight like leather dress. Like it's not the combination to have a fucking 360-pound man fucking going for the home run derby. It is not a good combination.
Oh, man. It was. I rewound it a couple times because it was a terrifying spot. Like
He swings, misses
he
her.
takes 2 steps into it. He's like bouncing on a
Oh.
foot, like he just fucking.
He swings, she ducks, he looks over because the full swing pulls him over to look at Shane Douglas and goes, well, I guess you're getting this, and breaks it on his fucking back. It's so gnarly, dude. Like, it's...
Dude. Bam Bam goes to powerbomb Shane through a table, but Douglas reverses into a belly-to-belly for the 3, becoming the new ECW World Heavyweight Champion. My only gripe here is I hate how fast the ECW refs count in big matches.
Mhm.
It kills it for me. With that said, I enjoyed this shit. I thought it was a silly match. I thought it was a blast, and it was fun, and I went 2 3/4 on it. Casey, I'm going to save you because I know it's a 5-star match for you. We'll save you.
No.
Ethan,
like it,
what'd
not
you
that
go
much.
on it?
Let me pull my rating back up real quick.
While
He's
you're
already
doing
checked
that,
out.
Yeah, Cortland, what'd you go on this, bud?
Where did it
I
go?
went 2.5.
Anything that I
enjoy-
missed?
No,
Oh, I
man,
got it.
not a whole lot. It's just got such a slow build in the beginning that like it takes a lot to bring you back, right? The spot at the just this weird finish situation. This match felt like it was supposed to end 5 minutes before it did, and then when it does finish, it feels like if you were going to continue after that, it should have been more than what we got.
Yeah.
For me, it just doesn't have a whole lot of meat on the bone for me, man. I love Bam Bam in this though. He looks fucking fantastic. Shane Douglas is fucking great. I actually believe that I saw that this is Shane Douglas's 4th title reign.
It's his third.
And
I
his
thought it was his
longest.
third.
It's his 3rd heavyweight. I don't know if he had like a television at the time, like in
I
there.
think that's what
But
I
he
read.
is
It's
a
like,
3-time.
yeah.
They even say, and you're 3-time world heavyweight
Yeah.
champion.
And this is his longest reign, not to like spoil anything we have going forward, but like this is his last and final reign, I believe, as the ECW champion.
I
It's
think
like
so.
400 and some odd days. Like it's very impressive.
Whoop-de-doo.
We're
All
about
of the
to.
98 shit we're about to cover is all Shane Douglas.
Yes, it is.
Hey man, we get one of my favorite
We
fucking
get
rivalries
great.
out of this though. I don't give a shit.
We get great matches from Shane Douglas in '98. Yeah, I don't got a whole lot on this match. Just hats off to both of them. They sent people home happy. That crowd ate up the title change. They really wanted it to happen. Shane Douglas, man, what a fucking pro, and what a pro to Bam Bam for putting him over the way that he did.
That was
Just
in Shane's
good shit.
hometown.
It's-
So
though,
so Shane
Yeah.
is from
Okay.
Pittsburgh and they are just outside of Pittsburgh.
yeah.
So I honestly feel like if they didn't go Shane, they were gonna have a fucking riot on their
no?
Right.
A
hands.
legitimate riot.
Because the holy shit, this fucking crowd was so for Shane. It was like there's no other bias there. I think there were 3 people in the crowd that would cheer for Bam Bam, but it was not safe.
The finish was sick though, like the half broken table chair.
Oh,
spot.
it was it this match?
yeah.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah, it's so impressive, dude. That shit's crazy. Just like the placement of it, like to hit that just right. Man, you gotta be fucking risking it all. I feel like. Yeah, man, it's a good match. I enjoy the end a lot. I love Candido and Storm coming out and celebrating with him, and like
They're
even though
holding his lifeless body up like Mikey Whipwreck type beat.
yeah, like even though his ass is fucking destroyed, like he's fucked up, and he's like leaning on the bottom rope, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And there's a doctor in the ring, like, "Y'all should give him some fucking air." Like he's dying.
Bam Bam beat
He
the
got
shit out of
ass-
him for 25 minutes.
Actually whooped his ass.
Yeah. So I don't have any big gripes about this match other than a really slow build. And like Mike said, it felt like two different matches. And when it could have been finished earlier, you didn't go with it. And by the time you decided to do it, it felt like there was another piece of the story that could have been added to make it feel more important or bigger. But yeah, no big gripes really about it. So it's a good match. It's a good main event. A good title change.
It went just over 25 minutes, and I'm okay with it going that long because it is your main event.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Ethan, what you got?
Casey hadn't given his rating.
Not
Mike,
yet.
what did you go again?
I went 2 3/4. Cortland went 2.5.
Okay, I'm probably gonna be the lowest. Although I have a question before I say, was Shane Douglas the heel prior to this?
Technically, yeah. Even Joey makes the comment that if this was in any other arena in the country, they would have been booing Shane out the building because he's just a hometown fucking hero at this point. That's all he has going for him.
Bam Bam has heat in ECW by like ECW purists just because he like went to other places. He went to Japan. He worked for WCW.
Yeah.
He worked for WF, and like they always call it like the turncoat chants and you sold out chants.
Yeah. But yeah, technically speaking, Shane is normally the heel.
No matter what Bam Bam did, they never gave him like the real respect he deserved in ECW. I felt like it was too late.
Yep.
It took him going through a fucking stage twice for them to fucking be like, okay, yeah,
he's hardcore, I guess.
Like fucking stupid, man. One of the best, if not the best, big man workers, and that company just took Bam Bam for granted.
What you got?
So I went 2 1/4. I love the idea they wanted to do here because I love a slow build and I love a big man whooping the little. Well, he's not that much smaller than him, but he
is 100 pounds lighter, but they're about equal height.
Yeah, so it looks weird. But I like the story, but at the same time, I was like, I've never known Shane Douglas to be a sympathetic babyface, so it seemed weird for them to be putting him in this spot where, like, all right, we're gonna beat you up for 20 minutes and get everybody behind you. So it just like I don't see Shane Douglas as that. So this whole heat period they worked didn't do anything for me. I wanted to love it because they did a good job executing it as far as the work goes. It was just the dynamic of their roles made it where I was like, okay, it's
confusing.
It just felt like an outline and not an actual story they were doing because I don't like Shane Douglas is not the sympathetic babyface guy. So I was never like, oh man, I'm ready for him to come back. But the heat segment from Bam Bam was sick. I just was like 25 minutes, like I love the way they did it though with the comeback, how Shane Douglas came in and did that spot at the end. I thought that was fucking awesome. So I like a lot of stuff about it, but at the end of the day, I could never get into it because of the character dynamics. So I went 2 1/4 on there.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely could have shaved off 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes of this match. Just take out that little piece of like the last false finish and your actual finish, and you just cut out all this middle in between shit, and you got a hell of a fucking championship bout for you.
My thing that I thought was, instead of just having Shane take the beating, like he's the hometown guy now that I know. Why not have him fire up a couple of times or something instead of it was just like they wanted to draw sympathy to him.
Or an early fire that gets put out.
They had tried it a couple of times where it was like he would get like a move in, but it would just get squashed fucking immediately by Bam Bam. And it's just like
it didn't give it any time to breathe.
Yeah, I think that's like where some of the
much time.
Yeah, that's where I think some of the problems are. It's like I feel like they were trying something that was weird because I almost feel like it was Shane felt out of place working a face because he's just not. So like him trying to do the bits, but it's like, but yeah, they should have given him a couple of more minutes in those little spots to help that grow a little bit. But it would be like a strike, and Bam would be like, fuck you, and like hit him again. Like,
see, it's like I just feel like with that crowd, you know what I mean? If they would have done more back and forth, it could have fucking ruled because the crowd's gonna be behind Shane. You know what I mean? If they, they could have got a lot more out of that time if they would have shifted. It's just an interesting choice for the way they worked it. But
Casey, why'd you go 5 stars? Defend it.
No,
First five-star
we're
rating
not.
on the
We're
podcast.
we're gonna get there eventually. It's probably coming up soon. I gave this one a 3. I love Bam Bam, so I'm always gonna be biased. I don't think there's a Bam Bam match I can rate under 3, probably,
I
because
love that.
I fucking love him, dude. Like, Cortland hit the nail on the head. Like, he's a very underappreciated wrestler through all the promotions. I think the most love he ever gets is in Japan.
Yeah, 100%.
But like,
I'm gonna legally download some of his Japan stuff tonight.
dude, him and Vader as a tag team is fucking
Oh my
insane.
god, it's crazy.
Because once again,
Vader in Japan.
because remember, you have a 360-ish 100-pound fucking Bam Bam, and then Vader's giant ass going against fucking Japanese wrestlers. It's fucking insane.
Did Bam Bam work All Japan or New Japan?
I know he did
Or you
New
don't know?
Japan, but I don't know if he did All Japan. They did quite a bit out there, so it wouldn't
Because I
surprise
know
me.
Vader did some All Japan stuff. I just didn't know because
They might have.
I think Mike's looking it up.
Yeah, he'll figure it
He
out.
did New Japan.
Was it just New Japan?
New
Okay.
Japan.
So like, yeah, because I'll admit that there are faults in this match. Like, there are a lot of like missteps, and it is like, thinking about it, it is weird to think of Shane working a face on this.
Yeah.
What I love the most is that the entire 25 minutes, you've got the crowd calling Bam Bam a lard ass, a fat fuck. Like, they're going in on him, and he acknowledges none of it. He doesn't.
They
He
did a
works.
Doughboy chant.
They do. He'll, 1 out of like 15 chants, he would look at the crowd and then would just beat the shit out of Shane right afterwards. Like, it was like, that was the only acknowledgement, was like, okay, like, you want, oh, so you want more of this. And then he would just go in again. And I honestly liked it. I wrote down that the Bailey to belly is the strongest fucking finisher ever. Because that's what takes out Bam Bam. I don't understand why a belly to belly suplex is a finish at this point, but
Did you just call it a Bailey to belly?
yes, I did.
He did.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
I'm
2022, baby.
so nauseous.
Not to backtrack, but I just found fucking Bam Bam faced fucking Kobashi and Kawada in All Japan.
he
Insane
did?
shit.
Yeah.
It's insane shit.
I'm gonna go watch it for sure.
There-
I haven't seen it.
Just even watching him hit ropes in Japan and watching the whole fucking ring shift is fucking insane. But
It was
like,
in 1990.
yeah, but yeah, overall, it's a fine match. It had its weird moments in it. I do love watching Shane get fucking thrown on top of Candido and Lance Storm, because like, that just doesn't seem right. Like,
Yeah.
because Bam Bam's so fucking big. But like, this ends up leading to one of my favorite feuds between Taz and Bam Bam. So like, I'm not mad. Like,
It's soon.
I get two of my
It's
favorite
coming.
two of my favorite matches of all time are happening soon, and I'm so excited to cover them. So like, honestly, like, even though it's weird and it's a little long, like, this made up for the clusterfuck prior to it, I feel like. So like, we at least didn't end on a really shitty note. But like, this was,
I enjoyed this match.
yeah, this
For
was
sure.
just,
I just wish it would have had something different in it. It felt like it had fire, and then it lost it. It tried to regain it, but it really
Yeah.
couldn't catch that lightning in a bottle, so to speak. But
Yeah.
I mean, they did the best they could. They wrapped it up in a little present. Luckily, they got the fuck out of there before people started hating it.
as long, I'm just glad we didn't have fucking Terry Funk bleeding to death again. It's
So I let Peacock run after I finished this pay per view because I ran it back again today, and it immediately ran November to '98,
oh god,
which is the Terry Funk incident. Do you remember the Terry Funk incident? Where he just like comes down to the ring and grabs the microphone from Joey Styles and just like shoots on fucking everyone in ECW.
oh yep,
And like, yeah, and he calls Tommy Dreamer like a no good piece of shit, and like, he's like, they didn't want to book me. He's like so fucking drunk, dude, and he's like, he's saying all kinds of shit like, I tried. He's like, I practiced. I learned how to do a double backflip off of the rope for you fans, and they don't want you to see it. And like Tommy Dreamer comes down there, and he's like, he literally like tries to push the mic down. He's like, "You wanted a lighter schedule, we gave you one. You don't have to be here. You can go home." And he's like, "No," and he shows him. And he's like, "Fuck you." It's so like from the heart. You're like, "Oh my god!"
I'm so excited to get there in a couple weeks.
Like I was like, Jesus, fuck, dude, like that shit is ruthless.
Oh god.
It's good stuff.
What?
Let me just listen. Right, our next pay-per-view is Living Dangerously from 1998, which does in fact have Taz defending his ECW World Television Championship against Bam Bigelow. So
God,
we're
I
getting a
love it.
5-star from Casey. We're officially going to get our first 5-star from Casey Van Sickle on the pod.
No promises, but it might.
I just want you to know what the second match on the card is.
I'll run
It's
through the whole
two-
thing.
You
Yeah,
get
let's hit it.
Doug Furnas versus Masato Tanaka.
Hell yeah.
You have Too Cold Scorpio versus Rob Van Dam, and this is the only spoiler I'm going to give you. It's the longest match by a long shot.
I vaguely remember that
remember
match, but it's I think a
Van Dam
fucking wild
versus-
one.
Van Dam versus Too Cold Scorpio goes 27 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
And it's the second match on the card.
Oh,
No match-
this is where we
No
start to
match
get
after that goes at over 14. Not a single match passed.
Is this the reason why? Is this the match the reason why we get Too Cold Scorpio in
WWE.
WWE? Yeah, at the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is when like he started doing. I believe this is a blue tights
Yes.
match. This is a really good match. If I remember correctly, if it's the same one I'm thinking of, that is a fucking match.
Yeah, because this is
Yeah,
where
but-
we get the whole thing where it's like they want to use Too Cold Scorpio's music, but they can't afford it. So Vince is like, "I'll pay for it if you let us use them on Raw." Like this is where we start to get really weird,
Yeah.
like funky background shit.
Yeah,
Huh.
which people have used to like create narratives supposedly that like
Vince was in on it
Vince
the whole
was doing
time.
payouts.
Yeah.
He was doing payouts for ECW because they were in the dump, and then Paul says that he never took a dime from WWE. Vince McMahon says he gave them money.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
It's
Get
a
a-
fucking
But
mess.
I feel like I
doesn't
remember-
matter in the long run.
I feel like
We
I
get
remember we're
a-
not going to be mad at that match though.
No,
I hope. Dude, 27
Mm-mm.
minutes and 10 seconds.
Don't hate me if it is, but
we get a tag team 3-way dance, which is the Dudley Boys versus what Wiki says, the hardcore chair swinging freaks, which is Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten, and then New Jack and Spike Dudley. We get Just Incredible with Jason and Nicole Bass. Taking
is
on
that the
Tommy,
dive, Casey?
taking on Tommy Dreamer.
this one might be one of them.
Like the one that spikes at the top, and you literally see him tell New Jack, "I don't
Yes.
want to do this,"
Yes.
and New Jack literally shoves him off of a
I
fucking
believe so.
balcony.
Yeah, I believe so.
No way.
I believe
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Another key piece of how New Jack is a piece of shit.
Am I about
because
to
his
watch
feet
this?
weren't
as-
even fucking
You're
under
like, I'm watching
him,
this now.
and he
Fuck
just
it.
fucking shoves him off of a third-story balcony.
Yep.
We get Dreamer and Just Incredible. We get Bam Bam Taz. We get Sandman Sabu in a
Oh.
dueling Canes match.
Fuck.
And our main event is Shane Douglas and Chris Candido versus Lance Storm
Ooh.
and Al Snow.
I'm interested in
That's
that.
gonna be an interesting one.
I like that.
Oh yeah, because
Um,
so at this point, Lance Storm's not in Triple Threat anymore because Bam Bam ends up turning on Taz at an event in between these two, and rejoins Triple Threat again. There's some weird shit that happens.
Yeah. Just story for
Um,
TV until
yeah.
they can get to a pay-per-view.
Yeah, not to give you like bad vibes on it, but quote, very low quality of wrestling on this show, which Paulie tried to compensate for by throwing everything but the kitchen sink into every match. That's what I'm gonna leave it on.
It's a little disrespectful, but all right.
Damn it.
That's what I'm gonna leave it on. So
Damn it.
That's all I got. Anything you guys want to add before I get us on out of here?
Yeah, I want to plug a friend of ours who helped us out, W Dirty. Check it out on Spotify. He made a small jingle for us. Good friend from Fayetteville. really nice dude. He made a EP called Twist of Fate. Obviously, pro wrestling puns all over it. Super cool dude. He supports Up and Over. We should definitely support him as we do. Check him out on Spotify, Apple Music, and all other streaming services that hold music. And we strongly thank him for helping us out and getting more content out.
For sure. Also, Casey started a web store for us.
Yep.
Upandoverpodcast.com if you wanted to buy merch. We have shirts, hats, koozies. We have fanny packs. We have all sorts of things on there. I'm still trying to petition for Pit Vipers to go on there, Joey Janela style. But if you wanted to pick anything up on there, it would mean a huge deal to all 5 of us. Yeah, I mean,
Also,
that's about it.
We will also be on Dynamite every Wednesday, immediately following Dynamite on the YouTube page. Check us out there. We'll be talking all things AEW immediately following the show. We love doing that. Come hang out in the chat, and we can talk about current wrestling, which most times seems way better than the shit that I'm watching.
It's
Always.
stunning. I feel like in 20 years, is this stuff that we're watching live gonna hold up? That's the
It's got to, man.
I hope so.
It's got
It's such good shit.
Good
it. It is such good.
Fellas, if there's nothing else y'all want to add, the only thing that I want to add is a big fuck Michael Cole. With that said,
Oh, send Pat love.
Yep.
Send Pat love this week.
Yeah.
Everyone needs time to do their own stuff, and this week's definitely his turn to take care of himself, take care of his family. Send him good love and good vibes. Solid person to have. Obviously, he's extremely missed on this week's episode. Can't wait to have him back next week.
Yeah, not as many smiles, not as many laughs without Patty Mills around. So a lot of love to him. Guys, with that being said, for Casey, for Cortland, for Ethan, for Pat, I, myself, and Mike, we appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode of the Up and Over podcast. As always, we'll be back next Thursday on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. If you listen on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star rating. It does help us a ton in terms of being discovered. Share us with your friends, with your family. We do have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Up and Over Pod. On there, you'll find all of our social medias from there. Holler at us if you have questions. If you want to watch along, if you wanted to toss your perspective, we're always down for conversations. Y'all enjoy your week. We'll see you back next Thursday. And y'all take care.